Hey everybody, welcome to J&J Sports Express for week 12 of the 2024 NFL season. I'm here with my co-host as usual for the evening, J.B. Ellis, and I'm Jeff Cadillac. How are you doing tonight, J.B.?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing good as always, doing good as always. A lot of good games again this week, a lot of good games last week that we spoke about. One of the things I want to tell everybody is, hey, bonus coverage last week of the bonus game was Detroit at home versus the Jags. Now, I said in that game, and if you read my analysis on my website, that the Detroit Lions would put up 50 points. Well, they must have been reading my analysis because they put up 52 points last week against the Jags, the woeful Jags, and they won 52-6. That was my best bet of the week on Twitter, folks. So if you were reading and watching and listening, you made money. And you saw a big blowout predicted right here on the J&J Sports Express.
You guys are welcome. I said we talked about the game beforehand, and I said, you know what? They need some bonus coverage this week. Let's talk about it. And look at that. We gave them a huge winner. Good job.
Yep. So let's go right into the schedule this week. We got Thursday night football, an NFC North matchup. You got the Steelers on the road at Cleveland. Cleveland is at home. They're getting 3.5. Steelers are the road favorite. Who you like in this game, JB, and why?
Anyone going to stop the Steelers team? I mean, they just beat Baltimore, what was supposed to be their test. 3.5 points seems way too low. I mean, they're just doing everything they need to do. That defense is solid. Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best. And their offense is doing just enough to make sure that they score enough points that the defense isn't going to beat them. This isn't going to be the week that they lose. Not to the Browns, not in Cleveland. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Steelers are a lot better. They have Warren and Harris as their 1-2 punch on running back. They're both solid and healthy. The Browns, that defense is not the same as it was last year. And T.J. Watt is healthy. We both loved the Steelers last week. They were getting 3 at home, but J.B. said he loved even laying the points. He would have lost on that one because they only won by 2. But I always said I like Pittsburgh at home getting the points in that game, and they came through. They stopped that 2-point conversion. But I got to tell you, I don't know why Baltimore didn't have Derrick Henry in on that 2-point conversion. I just don't understand. Even if it was a decoy, you have to cover him. So there would be one less person on Lamar Jackson. And when Lamar Jackson was running to his left, he had nowhere to go. There was basically nowhere to go, and he had no option there. And that's basically the game right then and there. They won 18-16. The Browns, they have to really reevaluate this team after the season. I mean, Jameis Winston is obviously not the answer. Deshaun Watson has been injury prone throughout his career at Cleveland, and he's due a lot of money on a guaranteed contract that I said from the beginning was a big waste of money. Steelers should romp in this game. It's a nice tune-up game for them. They have a harder schedule going forward. Steelers should win at least by 7 to 10 points in this game on the road, unless they start, getting stupid and, playing trick plays and everything. But I like Nick Chubb coming back. He's playing well, but Steelers should stop that right then and there. I like the Steelers laying the points. Like I said, they should win by 7 or 10 points in this game.
That's fair. Let's go to an interesting game, another division game. The Vikings -3 against the Bears. Bears who blew the game against Green Bay where they got their field goal blocked. I saw some good things from the Bears this game, having watched the game. They went back to things they were doing last year with Justin Fields that worked. It also seems as though they coached Caleb when the pocket's not there and there's nothing open to take off, which he wasn't doing. And it changed the dynamic of the offense. But when it's all said and done, I don't think they're beating the Vikings this weekend because the Vikings are in a dogfight to, improve their wild card stock. They want to get one of the top wild cards. They have an opportunity for it. They're still challenging Detroit for the division. They're not that far off. They have great receivers. They love their running back. Stealing the dude from Green Bay, phenomenal. Totally changed that offense around with having a good running back. And their defense is serviceable. Not the greatest defense in the world, but it does enough with that offense to let them score enough points. So I got to like the Vikings here by a touchdown.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but for some different reasons. Minnesota does have the number one rush defense in the NFL. So what they're going to do is they're going to shut down like they did last week against Tennessee, which not exactly is, steamrolling anybody, but they shut down your running game and they make you decide, okay, they shut down the Bears running game this week. It's all on Caleb Williams. And I don't like that on a rookie. Okay. He doesn't have as much experience in the NFL to say, guys, just put it on my shoulders and I'll lead you to victory. And they still haven't won since that loss against Washington, the Hail Mary tip. It's kind of a hangover. The Bears surprised a lot of people because Green Bay lets you hang around. They're not, last week, Green Bay didn't take Chicago seriously and they were on the road and they should have put a hurting on the Bears. And instead, they let them come back and they had to save the game by a blocked field goal. I like the Vikings in this game. Sam Darnold, like you said, the Vikings are definitely looking to improve upon their status in the NFC North because, first of all, nobody's winning that division except Detroit. So it's going to be up to Green Bay or the Vikings to come in second. So the Vikings have to keep on winning. And who better to beat than the Bears, who are honestly not that great of a team right now. They're hot and cold when the defense comes in. One game they look great. The next game they disappear. Last week against Green Bay, the defense was playing well. And Jordan Love is hot and cold, believe it or not. He's got a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers. Vikings, Sam Darnold, Aaron Jones, the running back for the Vikings, he should have a big game against the Bears because the Bears defense really, doesn't play as well as people think. You got Mr. Jefferson. He's always looking for his touches. And if Sam Darnold's smart, he just takes what the defense gives him. And I like the Vikings by 7 to 10 points in this game as well on the road at Chicago.
That's fair. You can take the next one to start.
Okay, this one, San Francisco versus the Packers. Packers are at home laying a whole 2.5. Now, 49ers last week, big disappointment. They got a little, smart and I guess, cute. And then they didn't take Seattle seriously, and Seattle just basically beat them. On that last drive that Geno Smith ran for the touchdown, where was the defense? All you had to do was make a couple of stops. He basically he walked into the end zone. Nobody touched him. I mean, where's the defense when you know it's at the end of the game? This is a big bounce back game for the 49ers. Packers last week were lucky again to get away from Chicago. They didn't take it seriously. 49ers have to get Christian McCaffrey more involved in the offense. Once you get him more involved, Deebo Samuel will be open. Then you got the different wide receivers. 49ers have to play a complete game. And the Packers, Jordan Love, he's due for a bad game where he has interceptions. And the 49ers defense will play right into Jordan Love will play right into the 49ers' hands. And 49ers are on a big bounce back week. They need this win if they want to keep pace in the NFC West. They know their season would basically be an uphill battle if they lose this game against the Packers. Packers are also playing, for that second wild card team. But believe it or not, I think they're the weaker of the team between Minnesota because a lot of times you don't know which Packer team's going to show up. And especially against Chicago last week, what's going on? You're a big, heavy favorite on the road because people believe in you and everybody's saying you're a good team and you barely escape with a win. But I like the 49ers to bounce back in this game, and I like them to beat the Packers by at least 7 or 10 points also on the road at Green Bay.
Hard to disagree with you. I mean, they need this game a lot more than the Packers do. This is a must-win for them, where the Packers are in a great spot. Teams play different when they have to win, and this is a 49ers team that knows how to win. They've gotten to the Super Bowl twice over the last 4 years, so they know how to do it. They have McCaffrey back, which is huge. They start using him the way that they know how to. And like you said, the receivers start to get open. Their defense is very good. Packers are a good team. They're coached well. Matt LaFleur does a great job. I said that last year or 2 years ago with Aaron Rodgers when he caused all that problem for that team. And yet the Packers still were winning. Not an easy thing to do to keep the locker room together when you have someone that's trying to destroy the whole team. And he just kept them together and they kept winning. Then they got Jordan Love, and they finally made him the starter, and everybody was like, they're going to be horrible. They got him into the playoffs, and they won in Dallas. This year, they came back. They look good, but they're not a great team. And the 49ers have the capability, if everyone plays good, to be a great team. So that's the difference in this game. This is kind of like a learning game for the Packers. A couple of years, this team may be able to win games like this, but not this year. This isn't their time. Detroit went through it too when they started getting better 2 years ago. You play sometimes against teams that are used to winning and know how to win. Packers don't know that yet. They'll get there.
I definitely agree with you on that, JB.
All right. This is an interesting game.
Yeah, Eagles -3 at the Rams on Sunday night. You want to go ahead, JB?
The Rams team, they're Jekyll and Hyde. They play some great games, and then there's some games that just not there. Eagles are on a huge winning streak, but it's a fraudulent winning streak. They have Sirianni who doesn't know how to coach. I don't know who I like in this game. I'm going to actually go with an upset and take the Rams, only because I don't trust Sirianni to coach that offense. He doesn't know how to use Barkley, who's one of the best runners in the league. He has Hurts, who is one of the better quarterbacks, but has trouble when he, starts thinking too much and turns it over. The defense is decent. They do a great job keeping him in the game. But when it comes down to it, McVay is a much better coach. And now they got Puka and Cup back, which is two huge weapons. Their running back, he's phenomenal. For a young kid, he knows what he's doing. Just gets yards. He didn't have a great week last week, but he's been solid all year. And I gotta like the Rams in an upset. It's a tough one though. This would be a good game.
Well, I happen to disagree with you on this one, and I'll tell you why. The Rams last week, they didn't impress me with a 6-point win over New England. If New England was driving and they needed an interception, the guy was playing center field, and Drake May didn't see that, to barely beat New England, because if New England drove and scored a touchdown, they win that game. And the Rams defense seems to go to sleep. And also Sean McVay, he gets a lead, he sits on it. And that's the problem with him. He's conservative. He's too conservative. He's like, oh, we're up 28-17. Let's run the ball 400 times and try to run out the clock. Well, guess what? It's a 60-minute game, my friend, and you got to keep winning. Look at Detroit. You think they stop the pedal on the metal when it's 48-2? No, they keep scoring. They keep winning. They beat you up. They beat your family up. The Rams, they win. It's nothing to write home about. That's why I don't like the Rams in this game. Philly has found a way now. They're on a nice win streak, and they're beating teams up. They're using Barkley the way he should. He's running for 125 yards plus a game. He's dazzling everybody. It's a whole new dynamic to this offense. He is reliable. He is pumped. He knows he's with a team that could possibly go deep, deep, deep into the playoffs. And that makes the rest of the offense better. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to worry that he has to throw 25, 30, 35 times a game to pass the ball, because he's got Barkley behind him that can run daylights. The Rams defense, a lot of times they go to sleep. They sit back. They wait for things to happen. They don't make things happen. They're still waiting for Aaron Donald to show up on the playing field after he retired. They think all of a sudden he's going to walk through the door, and now they're going to get that big uplift. Well, it's not happening. He's done. He's gone, and they have to move on. And they haven't really replaced him because the Rams defense is very vulnerable. And, the Eagles, they're number one with the running game. They're up there with Baltimore. They're either 1 or 2 right now. And the Rams, they can't stop that. I like Philly on the road because they're battling basically Washington for that NFC East spot, even though I think the Eagles will definitely, win outright. But I like the Eagles on the road, laying the 3 against the Rams. I see them winning by a field goal. Winning by a touchdown in this game on Sunday night. Even though it'll be a good game, I think the Eagles prevail by a touchdown.
Interesting. We disagree definitely on that one. Here's an interesting game. Let's find a Harbaugh.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start off on this one. You got the Ravens -3 at the Chargers, okay, on Monday night. Now, I like Baltimore in this game, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Baltimore's off the big bounce-back loss against Pittsburgh, so they're pissed off. Number one, they got a running game, Lamar Jackson and Henry. It's a 1-2 combination. You can't, it's hard to beat that combination when they're running on all cylinders. The Chargers last week, come on, you're up 27-6, and all of a sudden you're down 20. It's tied 27-27, and they're chasing Cincinnati because Cincinnati missed 2 field goals. They would have lost that game after a 27-6 lead. And let me tell you something. If you look at the Chargers' record, they haven't beaten anybody. They really haven't beaten anybody of quality. And beating Cincinnati the way they did shows they're susceptible to an offense that all of a sudden wakes up. The Cincinnati last week scored 3 touchdowns on 3 straight possessions. So, what did Jim Harbaugh and the rest of the team do? Nothing. They didn't make any adjustments. You see, Jim Harbaugh's a good coach. He gets the team competitive. They start getting in the conversation about winning and all this other stuff, but he can't get to the promised land. He gets you to where you need to be. Team looks good, but they don't win. He's only won 1 national championship in his whole coaching career. And that's part of the problem is that, they go to sleep on things. They don't make the right adjustments. Last week, Cincinnati made adjustments at halftime, and that's why they should have pulled that game out. I like the Chargers in that game, and they should have blown out, but the defense went to sleep. They started letting Cincinnati move up and down the field. And that's a problem because Baltimore's offense is definitely better than Cincinnati. It's Joe Burrow and a bunch of nobodies in Cincinnati. Okay, I shouldn't say nobodies. You got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But if Burrow doesn't get those guys the ball, it's over. So I like the Ravens in this game. I definitely think they bring the Chargers back down to earth. I wasn't impressed with that win last week. Ravens on a bounce back Monday night. They win by 7 to 10 points as well.
So the reason you're wrong, and you're not wrong very often, any Charger team prior to 2024 would have lost that game. Definitely. No question asked. The 2024 Chargers found a way to win. When have you ever seen a Chargers team find a way to win a game like that?
Yeah,
Think back in the history.
2 missed field goals by Cincinnati.
It doesn't matter. They find ways to blow games prior to this year. This year, they found a way to win that game. Completely different. Now they have Baltimore. This is a true test to see where they are in the lineage of where Harbaugh has them, where Jim has the team. Herbert is playing better than he's played in some time. The Ravens secondary is Swiss cheese. So Herbert's going to have his day. He'll find McConkey and Williams, and he'll have plenty of options there. Now, running, Dobbins is doing a decent job. Running against the Ravens is going to be a bit tougher. I think Herbert's going to have to bail him out by throwing a lot more in this game. And we're going to see with how Jim Harbaugh coaches. Can't say Harbaugh because there's 2 of them in this game. How Jim coaches. It's going to be interesting because he's a run-oriented coach. But to beat the Ravens, they have to open up the passing game, and they have to let Herbert take care of it. Now, the Ravens are a really good team. They have problems. Their secondary is flawed. They do have Derrick Henry, which is a great addition. The smartest signing of the offseason. Makes their offense multidimensional. But, I like the Chargers in this game. I think that Jim has just got them into learning how to win. And the other Harbaugh, they're having trouble in Baltimore right now. They have way too many losses compared to what they should have. They fall apart late in games. They don't want to close out opponents. It's going to be a close game, and I'm going to take the 3 points, and I'm going to win.
Okay, and that's why they play the games because people pick them and then they see what happens. So
Exactly.
Hey, there's another couple of things I definitely want to say now that we've gone through the 5 games we usually look at. Number one, last week one of the games we did look at was Kansas City at Buffalo. Now J.B. did like Buffalo at home, and I liked Kansas City on the road. And that pivotal 4th down and 2nd, I don't know why Kansas City didn't have a spotter in the game, knowing that maybe, Josh Allen was going to take off. That was the turning point of the whole game. They stop him there. Pat Mahomes gets the ball, goes the other way. Kansas City wins the game. Now, one thing one of the commentators said on one of the stations that I watch, I don't remember which one, he said, now that Pat Mahomes is angry, the rest of the league should beware, because now that, he's angry now after that loss, there's going to be changes in Kansas City because a smart team after a little loss like that, and it's not really that little, but they will make adjustments. They've already signed another wide receiver off another team's practice squad. I mean, first of all, DeAndre Hopkins, man, this guy don't drive. I said it 1,000 times, said it on this show, said it everywhere. The man is like Stickum. He doesn't drop anything. He's reliable. He's great. I mean, you think Kansas City's good. If they had DeAndre Hopkins the whole time, they would have never lost any games. I mean, this guy, forget it. I mean, you're talking about reliable. You look up the word reliable in the dictionary, he's there. That's his picture. Because unbelievable. He is unbelievable. He catches balls in traffic, never drops a ball. Never drops a ball. And so, Kansas City, they said, oh, their defense is a little, not as powerful as it was last season. Look, they're doing things, they're beating teams. Hey, you don't have to, as long as you got number 15 in red, that's all you need, because they'll find a way to win. And Kansas City this week against Carolina, they're laying 11 on the road. I mean, for Carolina, to be honest with you, it's a tough game to figure out, and I haven't actually looked into everything yet. But that's Carolina's Super Bowl right there, playing against Kansas City. So does Carolina get up for that game? Yeah, because they're playing against the Super Bowl champions who are possibly going for a three-peat. And you may or may not think that Carolina is going to do something in this game and keep it close. I think Kansas City probably wins the game. I don't know if they win by more than 11 points, which is a big spread on the road. I mean, Kansas City, believe it or not, plays better on the road than they do at home. But, how pumped up is Carolina? That's a game you want to look at,
Listen, when you think about that game, you look at the Chiefs' history. They don't play for the point spread. They play to win. Once they have the win, they don't really care anymore. They're happy with a 3-point win, a 7-point win. They're not worried, I got to, I'm up 10, I got to score again. So that's why I wouldn't touch that game. If you gave me a free bet, I wouldn't play that game. If you want to bet heavy favorites, Washington, because it's a division game. They're playing Dallas. Dallas is in disarray. I mean, why they're not playing Trey Lance at quarterback, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. The fake punt the other night was the stupidest play I've ever seen. They're trying to give away games. Washington's going to go in that game, and they're going to win by 3 touchdowns, I would think.
That was the one other game I definitely wanted to speak about. But first of all, there's 2 reasons why Washington's going to put a thumping on Dallas. Number one, Washington's on a double bounce back. They lost 2 straight games. They're still in the race for the NFC East. They got to win. Second, who's the head coach of Washington? Dan Quinn. He's former DC defensive coordinator at Dallas. They didn't even think about him as moving forward for a head coach, and they let him go. This is a little payback here, okay? This team, Washington, could possibly score about 42, 45, 47 points in this game, and Dallas might score about 3 or 6 if they're lucky, because Dallas has basically wrote it in. They're thinking about trading like half the team and cleaning houses, which they should do. And it was very stupid of them to even to give Dak Prescott and CD Lamb an extension. They should have let them play out their options, see what happens after the season, and take it from there. But now Dallas is stuck with all these people who sometimes don't even want to be there. And Mike McCarthy is going to be gone. I mean, that's a given already. If he's not gone, I don't know who's running that team. But this game here, Washington laying 10.5 at home against Dallas, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a big blowout. It's got blowout in the making. And if Washington doesn't get a blowout, it's a disappointment. And then it shows they are not real. Because in situations like this, the team has to flex their muscles. Jaden Daniels should have 3 touchdowns, either whether by running or throwing. And this team has to have some defensive stops or defensive turnovers or something. They have to show power and muscle in this game and let Dallas know that there's a new sheriff in town. Because in this rivalry last year, Dallas, they blew out Washington twice. Okay, both games. It's payback time, and Washington should take full advantage of it because you never know when things change in this league.
Oh, it's going to be ugly. I can't wait. I got my popcorn, watching Jaden Daniels go to town. It's going to be fun. So where can people find you?
All right. You can find me, jeffcadillac.com. I got full analysis of all the games every week for free. You can find me on Twitter, Best Bet of the Week on Fridays. You can find me here with J.B. Ellis on Wednesday nights, J&J Sports Express. And hey, if you want to send me an email and ask me about a particular game, I'm at jcadillac01@gmail.com.
All right, JB underscore the program on X, sidelinesportsnet.com, sidelinesportsnet.com. All your articles about anything that's important in sports, make sure you go there, watch the shows there. But we will see you guys next week. Remember, next week is Thanksgiving week. So bunch of games, a lot to talk about. But we'll see you next week with all that and everything else.
Take care, folks.